Single dad saw a mother count pennies. Her pain made him step forward. Michael Carter noticed her because she was trying not to be noticed. In the far corner of the grocery store, under flickering fluorescent lights, a young mother stood at the checkout counter with her head bowed, her hands trembling as she counted coins, pennies, nickels, a few worn dimes, placing them carefully on the counter as if each one carried the weight of her dignity. When the cashier quietly shook her head and slid a loaf of bread back, Michael felt something tighten in his chest. He wasn't supposed to hear the soft apology she whispered, but he did. And in that moment, everything in his life paused. Michael was a single father of two, Emma, 9, and Lucas, 6. Since his wife, Sarah, passed away 3 years earlier after a sudden illness, life had been a careful balancing act of school lunches, late-night laundry, grief that never quite went away, and a constant fear of failing his children. He worked as a mechanic, honest work that paid just enough to survive, never enough to feel safe. Every dollar was planned, every expense debated, yet as he watched that woman gather her coins back into her palm, he saw a reflection of his own worst nights, the ones where he sat at the kitchen table after the kids were asleep, staring at bills, wondering how much more he could stretch himself before he broke. The woman's name was Anna Wilson. Michael didn't know that yet. All he saw was the exhaustion etched into her face, the quiet strength of someone used to swallowing pride. A little girl stood beside her, clutching a frayed stuffed rabbit, eyes wide and confused. That look, the look of a child sensing something was wrong but not understanding what, hit Michael harder than anything else. "Dad," Emma whispered, tugging his sleeve. "Is that lady okay?" Michael didn't answer right away. He walked forward instead, placing his groceries on the counter. "Please," he said to the cashier, his voice steady despite the storm inside him, "add hers to mine." Anna turned, startled. "You don't have to." "I know," Michael replied gently. "But I want to." Tears filled Anna's eyes, and for a second she looked like she might refuse. But then she glanced at her daughter and nodded, her voice breaking as she whispered, "Thank you." That should have been the end of it, a small act of kindness between strangers. But life rarely works that way. Over the next few weeks, Michael saw Anna again and again. At the bus stop, at the park, at the discount store where shelves were half empty and prices were handwritten on cardboard signs. Eventually, a simple nod turned into conversation. Anna learned Michael's name. Michael learned hers, and that her daughter's name was Lily. Anna's story unfolded slowly, like a wound that had never been allowed to heal. She had been married once, too. Her husband, Daniel, died in a construction accident 2 years earlier. Without his income, everything collapsed. Medical bills from the accident swallowed their savings. When the landlord raised rent, Anna and Lily were forced to leave their apartment. They moved from couch to couch until favors ran out. Now they lived in a small, damp room above a closed-down laundromat, cheap, unsafe, but all Anna could afford with her part-time job at a diner. "I work as many shifts as they'll give me," she told Michael one evening as they sat on a park bench watching their children play. "But it's never enough. I don't want Lily to grow up thinking this is all life is." Michael understood that fear deeply. He looked at Emma and Lucas laughing on the swings and felt the same ache. "You're doing everything you can," he said. "That matters." But words didn't pay rent. And challenges kept coming. One night, Anna didn't show up at the park, or the next day, or the day after that. Michael felt uneasy. Against his cautious nature, he asked around and finally tracked her down at the diner. She looked thinner, pale. "They're closing the building," she said quietly when he asked if she was okay. "The city says it's unsafe. We have 2 weeks. 2 weeks. Michael knew what that meant. Shelters were overcrowded. Waiting lists were endless. And winter was approaching. That night, after putting his children to bed, Michael sat alone at the kitchen table, the same place he had spent so many nights fighting despair. He thought about Sarah, how she used to say that helping others was never about how much you had, but how willing you were to share what you could. He thought about Anna counting pennies. About Lily clutching that stuffed rabbit. The next morning, Michael made a decision that terrified him. He offered Anna and Lily his spare room. It wasn't much, a small room with mismatched furniture and peeling paint, but it was warm. It was safe, and it was all he had. Anna resisted at first. "I can't take that from you," she said, tears spilling over. You have your own children. They have more than enough, Michael replied softly. And so do I. Just not in money. Life under one roof wasn't easy. Privacy vanished. Bills increased. Some nights, Michael lay awake wondering if he had made a mistake. Emma struggled with sharing her space. Lucas asked too many questions. Anna worked late hours, exhausted. Pride clashed with gratitude. Grief lingered in quiet corners of the house. Then came another blow. Michael's hours at the garage were cut. Business slowed. Less work meant less pay. Panic returned like an old enemy. One evening, Anna found him staring at unpaid bills. This is my fault, she said, her voice heavy with guilt. I'll find somewhere else. No, Michael said firmly. We'll figure this out, together. They did, slowly, imperfectly. Anna picked up extra shifts cleaning offices at night. Michael started doing side repairs on weekends. Emma helped Lily with homework. Lucas learned to share his toys. The house filled with noise, arguments, laughter, and something else, hope. Months passed. Winter came and went. One afternoon, Anna came home shaking, her eyes wide with disbelief. Michael, she said, clutching an envelope, I got the job. It was a full-time position at a small accounting firm, steady hours, benefits, a future. Someone at the diner had noticed her careful way of managing receipts and suggested she apply. Life began to change, not suddenly, not magically, but truly. A year later, Anna and Lily moved into their own apartment. The day they left, there were tears on both sides. Emma hugged Lily tightly. Lucas tried to act brave and failed. Michael stood in the doorway, feeling the familiar ache of goodbye. You didn't just give us a room, Anna said, her voice thick with emotion. You gave us our lives back. Michael shook his head. You did that yourself. I just stepped forward. Years later, Michael would often think back to that moment in the grocery store, the pennies, the quiet apology, the choice that changed everything. He realized something important. Life doesn't always ask us to be rich or powerful or perfect. Sometimes, it simply asks us to notice, to care, to step forward when it's easier to look away. And in doing so, we don't just save others. We heal ourselves.